You know, after failing the CSA 3 times, I noticed that, this feeling of imminent disaster, a feeling like something bad was about to happen, just seemed to accompany me all the time. I'd never been an anxious person, and definitely never the kind of person that ever had thought of myself as depressed or anything like that. But every time someone just mentioned anything to do with the CSA or me, or I had to tell my story of my training, I just got all emotional, and this feeling as if some calamity was kind of on its way and about to, descend upon me as I was approaching that fourth attempt. It was just undescribable, and you would get symptoms like, just anytime CSA came to mind, heart fluttering, palpitations, restlessness, agitation, just the kind of things that a patient would tell you, and you maybe start them on sertraline or propranolol or something like that, for anxiety. But there were other things as well, just the general demotivation, lack of interest in things, and just this, there was a way that when things that you would normally participate in, like if somebody came now and said, Ayo, let's go and play football, and you're like, on top of this matter with the ground, look, come by, like, please, I can't be bothered. Or like maybe it's time to play games with the children, or me and the kids would normally ride bikes around the estate. I'm like, man, the matter on ground is too serious for this. My mind was just like, you need to focus. Or like things like watching films, reading novels, all those kind of things were just out the window. I just couldn't be bothered. All I wanted to focus on was, I just need to pass the CSA. I have one last chance. So that's when the term I used for it is the same term that we use to describe, the air hunger that comes when a patient has a blood clot in the lungs. I remember Professor Wally Cole teaching us pulmonary embolism for the first time and describing that term, a feeling of impending doom. That's the only way I can describe it. Just this feeling that the roof is going to cave in any minute from now. So I'm saying, at this point, I had maybe invested about 4 or 5 years of my life in this training. I had projects that I had put on hold. I had, things in various disciplines, relationships that had been built, that had been put on hold. I told myself, I want to spend 3 years doing GP training, become a GP, and then get on with my life. And this is 5 years down the line, 3 attempts at the CSA, about to do the 4th CSA with no clue whether you are going to pass or fail. So you can imagine where that leaves one. When you get this feeling that everything that you've given up, the projects, the relationships, the time you could have spent with family, a previous career maybe, and for many people they've given up a lot of things just to come and do this training. You feel like it's all about to go up in smoke, so this feeling like there's some calamity looming, you are facing your last chance. No, it's not something I wish for anybody at all. I had heard before I went into the training that foreign doctors have a hard time, of passing the CSA. But it's just one of those things you just never imagine that it's going to happen to you. You've grown up being viewed as some kind of smart kid, you know, all the way from nursery to university. Never had problems with exams, you know, so you don't expect that kind of thing to happen to you. But unfortunately, you just find yourself in the thick of it, and suddenly, you know, you are facing your fourth and final attempt. And then we should also mention, since we're talking today about the psychological trauma of CSA failure, we should also mention the isolation that comes, you know, by the time you're doing by the time you're doing the CSA for the third time, you're likely to be out of sync, which means the people that you started training with, most of them would have they would have passed and left the training, and you maybe by this time are in extension like I was, and if there's anybody else left from your original cohort, they're just equally baffled IMGs. You see, for some people as well, when we are talking about this isolation, you know, especially some people come from backgrounds where the man is supposed to be macho, and it's difficult to share your failures with your spouse if you have one, or with your kids, you know, with your extended family members. I mean, I was fortunate, you know, my wife was, you know, on board with every development, every step of the way, so, you know, we kind of share the burden together. Well, to be honest, I actually think that she bore the greater brunt of the burden, to be honest. Oh, by the way, you guys like my COVID-19 haircut, you know, my lockdown haircut. That's Bolu's handiwork. So if you see her, please tell her thanks for me. You know, I'm still a bit scared to go to the barber. Right, so it's the kind of thing that makes many people suffer in silence, and you know, you can't help feeling like you've let people down. I mean, I still remember my son. You know, my oldest was doing the 11 plus at this time when all this CSA debacle was going on, and I still remember him saying something to the effect of, well, you know, Daddy, why are you going on and on about my exam? I mean, you also failed your exam, so what, you know, what's the big deal if I don't pass? You know, something to that effect, and you're like, you know, it just comes at you from all angles, and it's difficult for many people to understand this. It's you know, sometimes part of the pressure comes from if you're in a practice where, you know, you're beginning to feel like a spare tire, like, you know, they are expecting you to, by now you shouldn't be talking about videoing patients anymore. We have a new cohort of trainees. We need the video for them, not for you. You know, we need to free up the trainers, and these things are never said. But I don't know. Maybe it was just me that felt that way. Maybe it wasn't even present. Who knows? Well, these things, you know, so all these things just go on like this, and I think for me it was a big relief. That 1 year that I took out of the training, when I just left. I just had to leave all that pressure behind, went back to being a medical registrar again, and I just slowly built myself back up, you know, in medicine again, you know. So the other thing, I mean, I probably should talk a little bit about the things that helped as well. Guys, you know, on a serious note, I don't want anybody to ever have to go through this, ever. Never, ever. You know what, I think I'll just stop there, you know, because like I said, I just get all emotional when I'm talking about this dark period in my life, and I think I'll do a part 2 just so I can explore some of the coping mechanisms that I, you know, employed during this period. But, you know, just before I let you go, I would implore you to please like, subscribe, and share this video with as many people as you know might benefit from it. Now, if you know any trainers, that might also be training IMGs, or friends and families of IMGs, I'd like you to share this video with them. So guys, thanks very much for listening. If there's anybody else out there that has had any CSA failure experience, please leave me some comments below about how this has affected your mental health and any other psychological impact. Anyone who wants to get in touch, you've seen my details. And if you'd like to feature in one of my videos, yeah, especially ultimate IMGs like me, please get in touch. I'll be more than glad. Thank you very much. You will pass. See you next time.